Most law firms open up a social media account, post for a few months, see nothing happen, and then quit. And then they say social media doesn't work. But there's a real reason behind every flop, and it's fixable. Today, I'll talk about what actually breaks social for attorneys and the three distinct personas that fix it. I'm Magdalena Madrigal, an operations specialist here at Abogados Now. We've worked with over 500 law firms nationwide and driven more than $250 million in settlement fees, and we're a Google Premier partner, putting us at the top 3% of agencies in the world. We manage social for hundreds of law firms across the country, so we're watching what sticks and what falls flat in real time. Before we get into it, let's be real for a moment. No one is on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok because they want to learn about the law unless they want to be a lawyer. But I'd bet all my money that most people are actually there for entertainment or to see what their friends are doing, not legal education. The only reason they'd actually be looking at legal content is when they're actively hiring for an attorney for, let's say, a car accident, a wrongful termination, a custody dispute. Then they scramble all over Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, looking to see what they can do, which means posting legal education content in hopes of someone stopping and scrolling to learn about contracts is backwards. Legal topics just aren't casual scroll bait. Why do I even mention this? Because there's a huge misconception of what actually is needed for a law firm to succeed on social media. They simply think posting different types of content is enough for them to actually be successful. That's where the biggest issue actually arises. To even be successful on social media, you have to ask yourself, who am I? Most firms have absolutely no idea what their goal even is and know even less who they're supposed to be on social media. What persona will you carry? What kind of content will they actually make? Do they want to go viral? Do they want a solid presence? So instead, they spin up an account, post random stuff, nothing happens, and they quit. And there's necessarily nothing wrong with that, but when they say social media doesn't work for law firms, they don't understand that social isn't the problem. The missing identity is. Once you decide who you're going to be on the account and you stick with it, the whole dynamic flips. And here's the good news, there are three distinct content personas a law firm can pick. Each of these personas require a different level of effort and comfort with varying degrees of reach. Let's walk through all three. The first one is what we call the professional. This is when you post very clean, informational, and credible content that centers on expertise. Think about explainer videos, frequently asked questions answered plainly, the holiday post, post about a settlement claim, or a video with the calm, knowledgeable attorney walking someone through a process that they're scared of. This content rarely goes viral and growth is slow, but it builds your credibility. So when someone checks you out before choosing, you look active on social media. So they know you exist and are still in business and you look knowledgeable. This persona won't build a big following on its own, but it wins the person already leaning towards choosing you. They just needed to see a firm that's alive and competent. It's perfect for attorneys who hate being on camera, for conservative practice areas, and firms that just want to exist without taking a personality risk. If bucket A was more conservative, then bucket B is the complete opposite. It's what we call the influencer play, and it's the one that takes a bet on your personality and trends. This can lead in a variety of ways, where you're posting like a social media superstar, or you're simply just leaning more on social media trends and less on legal education. Typically, in this bucket, the attorney is front and center as a real, memorable character. You invest in looking heavily into trending sounds, doing more personal content like day in the life clips. You post your opinions more, and you allow for more humorous content. This is the only persona where the main goal is to build a large audience and to blow up organically. It requires an attorney willing to be watched and judged on tone, personality, and humor, not just credentials. And it will invite criticism. Some people will push back, say it's too casual or unprofessional, but that's part of the bet. So it's not for everybody. It's a conscious bet that your personality is your brand and you're willing to own that. I want to be mindful that people in this bucket can have varying degrees of personalities, so it isn't prescriptive on what you actually post. But their common goal is to be less focused on showcasing the law and more focused on showcasing themselves. Some good examples are Leo Wise and John Morgan, where most of their content isn't mainly about law. I'd put a good bet that it's 20% legal content and 80% about their business and their personal lives. This now leaves us with the final bucket, bucket C, which is what we usually recommend, the educator-entertainer. It's real teaching wrapped inside trending formats. This is where you create educational content focused on the law, presented in a way that actually engages people. Not dumbed down, just a structured, smart way that engages people. So you rank the most recalled vehicles of the year, which is in the tier ranking video trend that people love to watch. Then at the end, you close it. You say, here's why recalls matter. Here's your consumer protection. Here's how we've helped. You remain both credible and engaging. This persona compounds. You build both audience and authority steadily. Over time, it survives scrutiny because the substance is real, and it doesn't require being a full time entertainer. And yes, you occasionally do win the algorithm and can go viral. It's centered on the real attorney and the real team, professional but human. You don't have to sacrifice a vanilla and conservative personality to be entertaining to catch people's attention. Tons of attorneys are doing this successfully and still posting their settlements, their testimonials, and also mixing in fun content like the one you just saw. Silva Injury Law does fantastic YouTube content. Mike Mandel does as well, with Amanda DeManda and attorney Martinez both dominating Instagram and TikTok. If you want to check out more of their content, look at the handles on the screen. So here's what happens next. You're going to pick one of these three personas. You pick one or two consistent people, ideally an attorney, but it doesn't have to be, to carry the voice forward every time. And then you actually commit. You post, you show up. You don't quit after 3 weeks. Because here's the thing, the worst choice you can make is having no presence at all. At least one of these three personas gets you in the game. And if you're thinking about reaching Spanish speaking clients, a huge, fast growing audience, whichever persona you choose, you'll stand out faster because the competition in Spanish is just thinner right now. The math is simple. Pick a persona that fits who you are and your practice. Pick your spokesperson and commit to showing up. That's how social starts working for you. If you're finally ready to get social right, pick the persona that fits, build it out, and start showing up. We can help you do it. Book a call and let's figure out which one makes sense for your law firm. Talk soon.